line up the decimal points. That's the key. To add and subtract decimals, you line up the decimal points for adding and subtracting only, okay? Line up the decimal points before you do your math. Okay, then you can add placeholder zeros if you need to. So if you line up the decimal points and there are some empty spaces, it is helpful to put a placeholder 0 so that you don't mess up what you're supposed to be adding. The 0 can help us see and keep straight our addition. It's important to be neat when we're adding and subtracting, because if you get off track or out of order, then you're going to, add the wrong things or subtract the wrong things. So being nice and neat will be helpful. Okay, in your answer, when you've lined up the decimals in the numbers that you're adding or subtracting, you bring down the decimal right below the decimal that you lined up. And that's where it will be in your answer. And then you just add and subtract. So you kind of get it all set up, add your zeros, bring down your decimal, and then at the very end, you do your adding or subtracting, okay? And you go from the farthest right, you always start the farthest right and then to the left. From right to left. Let's write that. Okay. Okay, hold on. Sorry. That's totally my bad. Let's go back. There. Done. Follow our steps. First, we line up the decimals. 8.13, 2.76, and we are adding. So we line them up. We don't have anywhere that we need to put placeholder zeros because they both have exactly the same number of digits on each side of the decimal point. So we're set there. And then we'll bring down our decimal for our answer. Will be directly below the decimals that we lined up in order to add and subtract. Yes. Hold on. I'm not quite there yet. All right. So then now we're going to add, because we're adding. We're going to add from right to left. So we're going to start the far right column with our hundredths place. Luke, go for it.
Okay. 3 plus 6 is 9.
Very good.
7 plus 1 is 8.
Good.
Bring down the decimal, which we already did.
Yep.
And then 2 plus 8 is 10.
Perfect. So there, we're done.
Woo!
Okay. So it's not hard. It's just a matter of having a good system set up for yourself so you don't make silly mistakes in your lining up and where you put your decimal or your placeholders. Let's do another one. Maybe. Let's look at this one. Letter B. 1.459 plus 23.7. 1.459 plus 23.7. So now, this one, it's going to be very important to line up our decimals. So I'm going to write the first one, 1.459. I am adding, making sure I remember to add. And then 23.7, I need to make sure I line those decimals up. Now, in this case, I don't have the same number of digits on every side of the decimal. So I'm going to add placeholder zeros next to the 7 so that I keep everything lined up and know exactly what I'm adding together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can add.
I'm going to bring down the 0, or sorry, not the 0, the decimal point, and that's where the decimal will be in my answer. Colin.
9 plus 0, 5 plus 0.
Yes.
4 plus 7, carry the 1 over to the other one.
Yes. Hold on. Wait till I'm ready for that. I'm not quite ready. When I ask for, you're correct. I will let you do it in a second. I will ask you guys for the answer. At that point, you can raise your hand. So from right to left.
9 plus 0.
Good.
9, 5 plus
Perfect.
4 plus 7 is 11. Carry the 9.
Good.
And then 3 on 1. And then 25. 1 plus 1 is 2.
Good.
Plus 3 is 5.
Good.
And then bring it down to 2.
Perfect. So 25.159. Very good. All right, couple for you, or maybe just one. One for you to try on your own. In your notes, add these two numbers. 15.5 plus 8.229. Line up the decimals, add your placeholder zeros,
Which one goes
and then bring down that decimal.
first? The bigger one goes
It doesn't matter which one goes first. You can add in any order.
Okay.
But I would put the first one on top and the second one below. 15.5 plus 8.229. What should I do first? Look up here and what I have. What would you tell me to do next?
So first, you drop the decimal,
Okay, good. Drop my decimal down. Good.
and then 9. There's nothing, so 9. Just drop the 9.
What would I say? What would I say to myself? What would you say to me as my teacher if you were teaching me? What should I put up above the 9 and the 2?
Put 2 zeros.
I would put some placeholder zeros. Okay. Now, tell me what to do.
Now drop the 9.
Okay. 9 plus 0 is 9.
And then drop the 2.
Okay. 2 plus 0 is 2.
And 5 plus 2 is 7.
Perfect.
5 plus 8 is 13.
Good.
And add 1
Yep.
plus 2 is 2.
Perfect.
And
1 plus 1 is 2. I knew what you meant. Very good. 23.729. How'd we do?
I got it.
Great. Here we go. Okay, here's a couple that are subtraction. Now, these are all together. They're all addition and they're all subtraction. But when you do homework or when you have a test or a quiz, they might be addition and then subtraction and then another subtraction and then an addition. You need to make sure you look carefully at what operation you're doing, okay? These are grouped together, so it's like, oh, this will all be subtraction. But make sure when you're doing homework or a test or a quiz, you look carefully at the sign. What? Yeah. All right, let's do this one. The same rules apply for subtraction that they do for addition. So we're going to line up our decimal points. 5.508 minus 3.174. Line up the decimal points. We don't have any placeholder zeros, so we don't have to add those. Then we'll drop down our decimal point down here. And remembering, we're not adding now, we're subtracting. 8 minus 4 is 4. We can't do 0 minus 7, so we need to borrow from the 5. That becomes a 4, and that becomes a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. Let's look at this one. 21.9 minus 1.605. Write the first number first. Remembering it's subtraction, line up your decimals. 1.605. Okay, notice on the top I need 2 placeholder zeros in order to make this all line up so that I keep everything in order. And then I'll bring my decimal down. And now I'm set up to subtract. Bless you. Okay, so I cannot borrow from, first of all, I can't subtract 0 minus 5, right? So then I look to here, I can't borrow from here. I have to borrow all the way over from the 9. That becomes 8. This becomes 9, and this becomes 10. What do you mean? Oh, make sure you put it first. It will make a difference. Well, because technically, yeah, so technically what happens here is this is a 10, but we have to borrow from that 10 to make our other, I got it. Hold on. I need to try to erase this. It's not letting me do it. Okay. Hold on, I'm just going to redo it. Okay, I'm going to do this for you one time. You've seen this before. This is not a new skill in 6th grade, so you may watch this. We're going to put our placeholder zeros. Now, this is what I was saying. In order to do this, we can't do 0 minus 5. We need a bigger number than 5, okay? So if we try to borrow from here, that's not possible. So we have to go all the way over first and borrow from the 9. 9 becomes 8. So then this becomes 10. That's still not helping us with the farthest to the right. So we have to borrow from this 10, make it 9 so that we can make that 10. Now we're set up to subtract. 10 minus 5 is? 5. 9 minus 0 is?
9.
8 minus 6? 2. I lost my decimal, but it's right there. 1 minus 1 is? 2 minus 0 is 2. Okay? All right, another one. Try this one in your notes. 6.34 minus 5.33. Okay, you guys, when we're subtracting, you always have to put the first number. It has to come first. It has to be on the top. So you always have to put 6.34 or whatever's first at the top minus 5.33. You always have to put the first one you're given on the top for subtraction. Always. Okay, David, working from right to left. What are you going to do?
1 minus 3 is 1.
Perfect.
3 minus 3 is 0.
Good.
Decimal.
Perfect.
6 minus 5 is 1.
Perfect.
101.
1.01. That is correct. Good? Okay. Let's do one more. One more. I'm just going to move. I'm going to erase this so that we have room. 27.9 minus 0.905. So set it up correctly. 27.9 has to be first minus 0.905. Okay, so line up your decimals. We will need 2 placeholder zeros. And when we borrow, look back at how we did letter B so that you do your borrowing correctly.
So first I borrow
Yes.
the 9
Perfect.
and turning that into an 8.
Perfect.
And I put 1 in front of the 2 zeros and crossed out the 0
Uh-huh.
and then made it 9.
Yes.
And then 10 minus 5
Good.
is 5.
Perfect.
9 minus 0 is just 9.
Yep.
And then you can't do 8 minus 9.
Very good.
So borrow from the center.
Perfect.
Turn it into a 6 and put 1.
Yes.
And then that is 9.
Yes. 18 minus 9 is 9.
And then the decimal.
Yep.
And then after that, 6 minus 0 is 6.
Perfect.
And just drop the 2.
Yes. Very good. Good. The second borrow was a little tricky, right? We ended up with 8 minus 9. You can't do that. You got to borrow again. Yes.
I just borrowed from 27 at the beginning.
Okay. That's fine. If you saw it coming, that's fine. I would have done the step by step. Very good. Very good. Okay, questions about how we did that?
I didn't know that we had to.
You can't ever have a smaller number on top of the bigger number. If you do, you have to borrow from whatever is next to it.
I got the first one, 27.9.
Okay, you don't need to write this, but please watch. Okay, so for a gymnastics score, this is our little word problem practice. To get the score, it says you add the difficulty score and the execution score, and then you subtract penalties, and that gives you that person's score. Okay? So here's what this person got. We have a difficulty, we have an execution, and we have penalties. So we're going to do what with difficulty and execution? We are going to add them. And then we are going to do what with their penalties? Liam? Subtract. Okay, so here's their scores. All right. Someone raise your hand and tell me the first thing that we should do here. Mia. Add what?
8.446 plus 6.9.
Okay, 8.466 plus 6.9. I'm going to line up my decimals because I'm adding. And add placeholder zeros. Now I add. Step 1. 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 plus 0 is 6. Forgot to bring down my decimal. 9 plus 4 is 13. Carry the 1. Okay, 8 plus 1 is 9. Plus 6 is 15. All right, so I added difficulty and execution. Her score is 15.366. What's my last step? Alessandra? Subtract. What do I subtract?
15.366 and 3.
Very good. I'm going to take what I got when I added, and I'm going to subtract 0.03. Line up my decimals, add placeholder zeros, and subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 6 minus 0 is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus, oh, minus. Thank you. 3 minus 3 is?
0.
Thank you. 5 minus 0 is 5. 1 minus 0 is 1.
15 minus 6.
So this is this gymnast's final score if we added the 2 and then subtracted the penalties. I don't need to say that. What did this gymnast score? Well, we just figured that out.
15.066.
All right, one more. Again, you don't need to write this, but let's look at it. Okay, the Lincoln Memorial Pool is a rectangle. So this is going to be a problem about, geometry, probably length and width or perimeter or area. Okay? It says it is 50.9 meters wide and 618.44 meters long. Then it says if you walk around the perimeter, how many meters do you walk? So basically it's asking us, what is the perimeter of the pool? So think about this. Okay, we're going to, here's the pool. The perimeter, and if we walked around the perimeter, what are we going to have to add?
50.
Modibo.
You add 50.9
Uh-huh.
by 618.44.
Okay, so if you're walking around, you've walked here, and then you've walked here. Are we done? No. And then you have to do this, which is what? 50.9 again. And then you have to also you're walking around the whole thing. So we have to add all of these together. I would do them just 2 at a time. So let's start here. 50.9 plus
Oh, I did it the other way
618.44. Let's add these two. Then we've walked those two lengths. So we add. Okay. Can we just know that this plus this, what is that also going to equal? The same thing. So can we just add this to itself? Yes. That will give us our total distance around the outside. Do we get that?
Yeah. Wait, what is funny about that? You didn't even do it. That's
What should the units be? Meters. Thank you.